staying cozy out there. We're going to talk about some Warrior episode 2 and 3 because I am behind. 4 and 5 I'll discuss this Friday, so hopefully we'll get back into things. There's a lot of scheduling, a lot of things happening, but doesn't matter. We're back. We're talking about Warrior. Let's episode 2. A group of Longjai attempt to smuggle opium behind the Hopway's back, but are killed when a bribed policeman rats them out. Action scene was pretty violent. It also gives us a sense, and I don't want to make it seem like the violence is a bad thing. I thought this fight was awesome, but the violence gives us some details about the Hopway or the Tongs. How brutal they can be, especially Young Jun, and they kind of like get excited about the violence almost. So it's really interesting to also see how Assam kind of handles that fight. He doesn't kill anyone. Mai Lin and Li Yong have sex because you gotta have sex with Warrior. And they agreed not to tell anyone because she's related to Assam, so they're lying on two fronts. I had to put this note because Officer Lee meets Bill at his home, and he's got a big family. We also get the mystery of Lee a little bit more. Not it wasn't suspicious they didn't say that he didn't have a wife or whatever, but he just seems like he doesn't really have a much of a at home life. The Longzai have spies that a toy sniffs out. Lee and Bill investigate a crime scene that was hit, and Dylan Leary has a talk with Bill about getting his money back, and Bill spends it all on cards. Blake is purchasing something from a shop in Chinatown when we see Young Jun and Assam talking and getting the money out of the shop owner, and she defends the shop owner, talking about how they're cowardly, and this really like gets under Assam's skin. The bill proves again how just bad of a cop this guy is when he just lets the Longzai take their men's corpse without like writing any reports. Despite the deaths, Longzai wants to make peace before the Chinese Exclusion Act happens, and we're not entirely sure, but he says more information to Mylin that he knows about them being sneaky, possibly. Two men attack Penny and her valet, but Assam comes to the rescue until Bill just arrests him. June learns about Assam being arrested, but will not bail him out for going where he just knows he shouldn't, and it might take the heat down in Chinatown that it's like facing right now as well. Well, Penny tries to get Assam out of there with her husband's connections, but to no avail. And we also meet her father for the first time, who hasn't seen her in quite a while, and her family seems to be worried about her. So there definitely seems to be some distance between her and her family since this marriage happened. His father has still not got the funding from the mayor yet, and the deal they made for the marriage of his daughter is real. And Buckley, he specifically has been really taking this time, which we'll talk more about in episode 3. Penny visits Assam in his cell, begging him to defend himself in court, but he tells her he's just already given up. There's not really a point of him fighting because they've already made up their minds. We get to know a little bit more about Zhao. He has some battle scars on his back, so it seems like he's done some things to get to his position. And Atong talks to him about Assam being in prison, like everyone's talking about that, and the Exclusion Act as well. And she's warning him to be a little bit more careful because he is at an interesting position because he's not really a particular side, but he's kind of like the Switzerland, like everyone goes to him for things, which could backfire. In this episode with that cop I was talking about being killed by Li Yong, and I give this episode a 7 out of 10. I thought it was pretty solid. I think it's mainly set up, but I think it's good setup. Episode 3, we start the episode off with Leary intimidating Penny's father into hiring him and his men for his project he's been working on with the mayor. Assam hearing hearing happens, which turns into a trial without there being any witnesses to defend him. Mai Lin approves of a work order without the approval of Long Zai, which definitely is going to get her in trouble for sure. When she gets the information that her brother was arrested as well, he pays a visit to Assam's lawyer, who, by the way they were talking, they definitely seem to have had a romantic history. If I had to take a guess, it seems like the way they were talking seemed to be ruined by the marriage. She tries to testify, but she can't because he could lose his job. And then we cut to Leary and Bill have talk um, about some guys like go in to kill Sam in his cell, and it doesn't go very well. Sam and Lee both call out Bill for aiding the Irish mob and just his racism in general, which slowly starts to change his opinion. He seems of he at least has his opinion change on Assam. Next day, Mai Lin threatens to kill the person who was going to testify, which drops the charges against Assam. Bill still he's pretty racist, but you start to see a little bit. I liked the scene. He helps out Assam getting away from this angry mob. Mayor takes this opportunity to give the most very. I liked how this was written before because it was just such a paint by numbers speech, and everyone bought it. And he didn't really say anything important. He didn't talk about any changes he was going to make or what's he going to do. He just said very like I said, paint by numbers things you would say in a speech to calm down a crowd, without saying anything risky. And Buckley calls him out on it, which I really enjoyed. Zhao gives Sam a message from Mai Lin to get out of town. But the thing is, he's still screwed because he can't leave because he's still a part of the Tongs, so he can't leave. So I liked this little moment because I think he's really starting to understand how stupid he was. Leary gets his men out of prison, which seems to be the last favor Bill owed him for now, possibly. I gotta say, in this particular cell, the lighting has not improved for me overall in this. Definitely not so much that I'm gonna knock it as much as the first episode because I had other problems with the writing, but still something I wish we would improve on. Penny puts something in the mayor's drink that puts him asleep quickly. I'm guessing she does this because she just doesn't want to have sex with this guy. Understandable. He's kind of scummy. The hop away celebrate Assam getting out of prison, and him and Young June have a little moment where he's talking to him about he feels some type of way of him about leaving. So I'm curious where that relationship's gonna go from the next episode and above. But we also get Father June, who doesn't just talk to him; he beats him literally, and shows why they're called the Tongs. Beats him with a tong. Atoin heals Assam's wounds as she's talking about plans for the revolution, what he has to do with these plans, and she then kicks him out, which pretty much ends any relationship they could have had. Lynn has another meeting with Buckley. She needs another opium shipment, and he needs some blood in the streets. They'll come to that agreement. Yeah, Buckley really seems to not have faith in the mayor. Sam visits Penny at her home to give her back the money she gave to him, and there's definitely some tension, but more romantic tension as well, because they kind of both realize it's very Romeo and Juliet. They realize they can't really be together, but also, and there's things they don't love about each other, but there's just something that connects the two of them. We end this episode with Leary burning down the house of the person who wouldn't testify at the trial, which shows how much a threat Leary's going to be. Despite some technical problems aside, I think this was a pretty good payoff to the previous, while giving us hints at what all the other characters are doing, what their character arcs are going to be moving forward. Yeah, honestly, this is kind of crazy going from episode 1 to like now, but episode 3 I thought was like really good, so I'm gonna give it a 10. I appreciate you all for staying patient, and look forward to Friday. We're going to talk about episode 4 and 5 of Warrior.